In March 2025, Mallam Nasir El-Rufai's defection from the All Progressives Congress, a party he co-founded to the Social Democratic Party, sent shockwaves through Nigeria's political scene. Its alignment with opposition leaders like Waziri Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and Peter Obi of the Labour Party to form a coalition against President Bola Tinubu fueled debates about whether such a strategy could work in Nigeria's politics. And as coalition talks reverberate, political figures in opposition parties are equally defecting to the APC and endorsing the candidacy of the incumbent president. And of course, raising serious questions about the emergence of a one-party state in Nigeria. The fear is that these continued defections and the consolidation of power by the APC could lead to authoritarianism in the coming elections, whereby the focus should even be on how Nigerians can actually benefit more from all these political leanings and playouts and democratic dividends and governance that we're seeing in the country. So this evening we're joined by Adekunle Akinlade, the 2023 Ogun PDP Deputy Governorship candidate, and is live in our studio. Thank you so much, sir, for coming to talk about this on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to start from the point of decampments, most especially by PDP governors, lawmakers, and some members to the APC. How do you feel about it?
My sincere take is this. Politics is about who gets what, when, and how. And every political party, I believe, at any point in time, what should be primary is how do we win the election, how do we improve the lives of the people. And oppositions, generally, after every election, everybody's running around to, realign themselves, who gets what, who's going to get what in next election. And somehow they seem to drop the ball because of personal ambitions. And but when you take the ruling party, they are focused on governance, they are focused on consolidating whatever it is they're trying to achieve. And of course, anybody that says something that looks more real, more realistic, you won't be able to take anything away from them, because that's where everybody will naturally gravitate towards. So it happens in every election cycle. The first 2 years of every election cycle, the oppositions will be trying, as Wafa said at the beginning, to try as much as they can to try to, who gets what do we do, how do we, some are still licking the wounds of those in the election, some who have been in government, who have lost out of government, are trying to, that happens. And naturally, if you have a party like the present ruling party and where they're coming from, they've been out of government for about 16 years before then, came into government in 2015. And of course, they would do everything they can to consolidate their position, and that's what we're experiencing today.
Now, you've talked about personal ambitions, and we know that there's freedom of expression and freedom of movement that's guaranteed by democracy. But some people will say that these political defections, most especially by these top shots in these parties, shows or depicts these people as being traitors because they canvassed to these political positions on a particular platform, and now they're leaving to another. And there's meant to be consequences. I don't know if you're aligned with that thought.
I will work with, of course, every democracy. The Nigerian democracy is still evolving. I know that as a former member of Reps. And I believe you have a choice, to be able to, if you're in a party, if you take the PDP, for example, where they're having the crisis of, about the secretary of the party and other issues, about the chairman of the party, who was supposed to be in acting capacity, take a position we had in Ogun State, where we had parallel congresses and all that. When that happens in the party, it does leave room for people to look at, what happens about the future, what do we do as a people, and you see people defecting. And if the Constitution does not state clearly that, if you cannot defect from one party to another, I don't think there's anything, I don't think there's anything wrong in it. It all depends on exactly where your interest lies.
Okay, so now, some people will say it seems as though it's even too early to start talking about politics and start talking about 2027 elections when this administration is just 2 years in power. And you've talked about the fact that this administration or this party is looking at improving the lives of people, the dividends of democracy, and improving on governance. But then when you move on the streets, from the things that you've seen, does it look as though Nigerians are actually happy or satisfied by how this administration has gone about governance for them?
Let me put it this way. As a Nigerian, we were all in a country where the airlights, where majority of these people built nothing. They go to CBN, they get allocations, They round-trip this money, become millionaires overnight. Most of them are into fuel subsidy and all that, making billions and millions on a weekly basis. Now, when these people leave power, as it may, naturally, they will want to fight back. When you want to do something different, when you make up your mind as a leader to want to do something different, like what President Asiwaju is doing today, these are difficult positions naturally. Even if you want to, let's assume, even ordinarily you want to start planting as a farmer, you will have to clear, you will have to do a lot of clearing. You need to acquire the land, you need to clear the land, you need to sow, you need to plant, you need to wait for you to get the yield and all that. Now, when you wait for that period, of course, people will be hungry. Those who expect to start eating the day you plant will say, oh, there's no food. All we need to understand is that any policy of government will take time to manifest for us to start to see the result. This is just 24 months. 24 months.
But APC has been in power since 2015 up to now.
Yeah, but we should understand this. The constitution says any individual, you have to run it across 4 or 8 years. The administration, of course, the policy drive of the last government administration of President Muhammadu Buhari ended in, of course, May 29, 2023. And this government came in, the last two. Of course, that's why you not hear them say, oh, this administration has been there now for 12 years, or they'll say 10 years, they'll say 2 years. That's what we say, 2 years. So the policies of this government, should be used to judge this government, which is the last 24 months. And we need to start to see, we're trying to see. And immediately, the Naira was floated. The issue of people trading in dollars and buying dollars and selling and doing nothing, that's gone. The moment the issue of subsidy was shut out, when people moving products, you import products to Nigeria and all that as subsidized. Some people just take the product across the border and sell. All that is gone today. So we will start to, the Yoruba says that when a sort of people stand in place and win the sport, it might take time. With time, it will form. So we just need to be patient a bit for this administration, and I'm confident that we will start to see the benefits and the results of the policy drives of this administration. Okay,
so I'm told that Olorun Toba Yusuf, who is a journalist and current affairs analyst, has actually joined virtually. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Yusuf.
Much. Good to be here.
So what is your take on these political defections that we've seen, most especially for Nasir El-Rufai, the former governor of Kaduna State, Atiku Abubakar, former vice president, Peter Obi, a former governor, presidential candidate of the Labour Party? Looking at those figures, the defections, the forming of the coalition, what is your overview of this?
Well, first of all, what you have seen in Nigeria is a situation where politicians are only concerned about winning elections. And there's hardly anyone in the political space among the political elites since 1999, if you want to narrow it down, that hasn't moved from one political party to another, either a sitting governor or an ex-governor, a minister. We've seen all cases of defection from one party to another. I mean, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar himself ran under the ACN, PDP, before he's talking about a coalition now. Peter Obi himself also was in ABGA, went to PDP, went to Labour. A number of them have moved from one party to another. Even the current president, although some have argued that what he did was not defection, that the AD at the time morphed into ACN, and later became the APC. But we can see that we've seen that trajectory of defection in the history of Nigeria for some time now. But as to your question directly, this is what happens in a country where, political parties are not really formed based on ideological values. The main driver is search for power. The main driver is the interest in winning election. The main driver is not really about, the needs of the people. It's just about when they feel disgruntled, they don't feel part of the national cake, they don't get a bite of the national cake, or they don't feel part of the problem. That's when you see them coming together to form a coalition like this. And it's quite unfortunate because, what we're seeing is that despite all of the issues that have been brought out against the APC, it looks like the party seem to be strengthening. And, politics is a game of numbers, whether or not we like it. Politicians are in it to, get the numbers up as much as possible so that the odds will be stacked in their favor in the next round of election. So for me, what we are seeing is 2027, the politicking has started already, even though we are 2 years away from it. In fact, it started the moment, for some politicians, it started the moment, the current president was sworn in and the round of election of 2023 were over. So politicians always calculate, they always want to stay relevant, and it's their interest that matters first. That's what I've seen in Nigeria over time. It's their interest that matters first, even if it means, those who have criticized a certain politician in the past, those who have called some people names, you see them coming back together again because there's only one unifying force, amongst all of them, and that's their interest, and not ideology, not value, nothing. It's just their interest that matters. So you need to win election.
So you see, basically what you're saying is that these defections and the possible forming of a coalition is not a blessing in disguise for Nigerians.
I really don't see it that way because, look at the people that want to form the coalition. These are people that have been in the corridor of power at one point or the other. Nasir El-Rufai, for instance, he's been minister, he's been governor, and what have you. And if you look at some of the issues they've brought forward now, Rotimi Amechi, Nasir El-Rufai, and some of those who served in the former administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. How can somebody who served in the former government of Muhammadu Buhari be telling us about wanting to transform the country, given all of the issues that came on board at the time, economy, security? It's not like things are better now, but we've seen these people in the corridor of power, we've seen what they can do, we've seen what they've done. So the question is, what else do they present? We should not be drawn away. As much as people have resentment towards some of the policies of the government, we should also not be distracted by the fact that, from what these people have done in the past as well. So what matters to them is their interest. For me, it's not really because they want to save Nigeria. Atiku Abubakar has been at this pursuit since 1992. Nasir El-Rufai, Rotimi Amechi, probably because they are disgruntled with how things are going in this administration. That's why they decided to make the defection as well. Peter Obi himself also wants to be president. So these are political elites that have been in the space for many years now. So it's not surprising for me that they're coming together to form a coalition. And also, if you look at some of the things they campaigned on, during the 2023 election, maybe the model of implementation would have been different, but the things that they said they were going to do are a bit similar to what the current president is doing now. So the question is, what else are they bringing to the table? What do they want to offer Nigerians, aside from the fact that they want to achieve their lifelong dream? Just the way President Tinubu at the time told us that being Nigeria's president has been his lifelong dream. So for politicians, it's all about their lifelong dream, really. It's not about the people. But it's good for our democracy, it's healthy, and I think that is going to make the election a bit more competitive. Beyond that, really, I'm not really optimistic about it, that these people want to, bring something different for the average Nigerian.
Okay, so Adekunle, Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi, Nasir El-Rufai, Rotimi Amechi, they've been described as disgruntled politicians. Some people call them sore losers who can bark but can't bite. And now Yusuf is saying that they probably don't even have anything that they're bringing to the table. How do you, evaluate these people and describe them?
I would say that every individual has something to bring to the table. The timing most times affects what you want to bring. Sometimes people don't even have the opportunity to do what, but the reality is that by the time you get there, will you be able to do what you have in mind? Because our politics, our system is still evolving, our democracy is still evolving. A lot of things you read, a lot of things ideas you have, brilliant ideas you have. But by the time you get into power, you realize that a lot will be determined beyond your own control. Politics, faith, religion, a lot of things. So I don't think they don't have anything to bring to the table. What I believe is that, given the opportunity, I believe that every one of them, might be able to do something they believe is the best. But if they will do anything different from what we're saying now, I doubt it.
So it probably means you don't think they'll be able to cause an upset from the coalition?
I sincerely don't believe that. Take the issue of security, for example. We all know, for those of us who are students of power, that the challenge of insecurity is the movement of non-Nigerian registered migrants flock into Nigeria from the Sahel region. Of course, we know too that Mallam Gaddafi had almost 29 military depot where they had arms in the desert. 30% of the whole Libyan during Muammar Gaddafi's tenure, 30% were only those who were Libyans. The other 70% were from Mali, Chad, and all that. And mainly Gaddafi died, all these soldiers were disbanded. Now, when these people come into Nigeria, they are Fulanis in quotes, but they are not Nigerians. Now, what do you think any of these individuals you just mentioned, what do you think? Are they going to profile them? Are they going to lock them up somewhere and say, oh, this is the Nigerian Fulani, this is the non-Nigerian Fulani? There's nothing they can do. I don't believe that any of them will do any different from what we. So it's a difficult call. It's one that we must understand that we must all come together as a people to support this administration for the benefit of this country and try as much as we can to put self aside and think about what's in the best interest of this great country.
Okay, so we're going to go on a break and I'll come back to ask my two guests if they're really scared or bothered about a one-party state, if we are going to go by what you just said now. Let's quickly go on our short break. When we return, we'll be driving this conversation home. So we'll be looking at political defections in Nigeria and what the consequences might be for the 2027 elections. I've been talking to Olorun Toba Yusuf, a journalist and a current affairs analyst, and of course Adekunle Akinlade, who was the 2023 Ogun PDP deputy governorship candidate. Of course, even as we drive to coast home, let me quickly ask Yusuf this question, tying into what Adekunle said a while ago, that there's a need to support this administration to fulfill its promises. And people are scared that this might just lead to the collapse of this coalition that might be forming and we might end up into a one-party state. Are you bothered about that?
Of course. I mean, the prospect of a one-party state is going to be bothering to... it's going to bother anyone that, loves democracy. I think that one of the beauty of democracy is that ability for anybody to choose, the right for anybody to choose whichever political party they want to vote for, a candidate that they want to support. So I believe in the competitiveness of the process. I believe in, letting people decide who they want. I don't believe in, manipulating the system or coercing people into what is likely to happen right now. It's quite unfortunate. But those who are saying that we are tilting towards a one-party state, especially those, in the political space, they can blame themselves. Some have said that is based on, the manipulations of the ruling party, the APC, they are the ones causing crisis. Some have said that the opposition is weak. They can't sort out their internal issues. I think that we can ascribe the issue to both. I will not rule out possible manipulation by the APC. I also not rule out, the inability of these political parties to sort out their internal crisis. I mean, look at some of these political parties. They can't even conduct a free and fair or rancor-free primary. You see parallel primaries everywhere. Candidates emerges. There are all kinds of court cases, and you ask yourself, are these so-called new political parties even different from the APC or the PDP? So I think it stems from our society itself. It stems from political culture, how people want to get the position by any means necessary. People don't want to follow due process, and that culture of wanting to win every time. And if you don't win, either within your primary, you decide to defect, or you decide to support another candidate. Even those that don't defect, do what they call anti-party, either covertly or overtly, within their political party, and support another candidate for another political party as well. So it's worrisome, to answer your question. Really.
Okay.
The one party support the government. We have the right to criticize the government as well. No, it's not. We don't want a situation where everybody supports the government. That's not what a democracy is. People should be able to choose and decide who they want.
All right. Yusuf, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us at this time. We really appreciate your contribution.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So even as we wrap up, Adekunle Akinlade, Yusuf is worried about a one-party state, and the president has come out to say that he's not really bothered whether or not Nigeria gets to that point. He's just focused on governance as it speaks. But Nigerians are bothered. Opposition parties are bothered. Are you bothered?
I'm not bothered. I believe it's just a political statement. I don't believe any Democrat would want that to be. In preparation for every election, it's like, let me just use a simple analogy of you going to every boxing bout. It's about two individuals. One person focuses on training, getting all the, all the support you need and all the skill you need to win. And the other person sits back sleeping and, gossiping and all that. And then, of course, somebody's going to lose. And then you go say, oh, the guy is, doing more to win. Of course, you must do whatever it is, what you have to do to win. So I believe, like I said earlier, that our democracy is evolving, and I believe that, those who prepare more will surely win at the end of the day. So I don't believe Nigeria is going to be a one-party state. I don't believe that. Those who say that are those, I think they should focus more to prepare for 2027 rather than throwing tantrums and all that. So I think they should focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, I'd like to find out this when as we co-sum on this. You've tried to be a governor in Ogun State. You've defected from one party to another. You have your plans and your ambitions, but then it seems as though you've not been able to materialize that. I'd like to find out, where is your standpoint as regards politics, your plans in Ogun State? How do you see it?
What we did today, this morning, in the last couple of months, we've been, of course, we've had issues. When PDP, we've had issues in the party because, of course, the way the party had been managed up to date. And we've looked inward. Every politics is local. I've had time to sit down with our supporters back home. We met today, early this morning, and we had some, very strong position and decision that looking at what is happening today in the country and looking at what's happening in the opposition party, I think the decision at that meeting was that we should all return home. We were all in APC. We left APC in 2018 to APM. We came back to APC in 2019. We left in 2022 again. And we're where we are today. And I believe that everybody is saying, let us go back home to our what they call our morning party, which is APC. And I believe that our job and what we believe to do now is to make sure we support this administration. We support the governor of Ogun State. Let's do everything we can within our power to support the administration in Ogun State, support the leader of the party in Ogun State, and support the leader of the party at the national level to make sure that this country survives, this country succeeds, and that all the policy of government, we must do everything we can as a people, to make sure we support this administration to succeed. And that's what my focus is and focus of our supporters are as we stand today.
All right, thank you so much, Adekunle Akinlade, 2023 Ogun PDP Deputy Governorship Candidate. Thank you so much for coming around to talk to us at this time.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is mine. Thank you so much.
Of course. Now, the ongoing defections and political realignment in Nigeria reflects deeper systemic challenges that actually shape the country's democratic health. But then, as 2027 approaches, will all these shifts ultimately bring succor and democratic dividends to the people? Well, your guess is as good as mine, and only time will tell. And that's all on today's show, Politics HQ. You can catch up on any of our missed episodes on our YouTube channel at News Central TV. You can also watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Arvo TV, and of course on YouTube, as I said earlier. I am Leko Onobanjo. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.